Of Gimel. It says like this: Hine yesh shnei mini yomim, the two types of days. Yemei toiv, good days. Yemei ra, and difficult days. K'mo shekusev b'yoim toivu, a good day, have a b'toiv, enjoy it. Yoim re'u, and a bad day re'ei, look. What does that mean? Good day, enjoy the goodness, and a bad day, look. Very good in the tough days. You'll find good things there. But this is important. This Torah explains that Torah means Heine Torah. You'll find Torah, anything in the dark. This Torah is explaining that you'll find Torah in all the darkest places. Just the darker the place, the more higher the Torah is over there. We'll soon explain this. But other places, Nusen especially uses this, that when you go through a tough day, don't just sit back and let the tough day rule you. What you got to do is look at the tough day and find good things about it. And find the Kudas Tovis. When you go through a tough time and you think that the world is... my marshal is always the simple marshal. If you work out, when you come back sweaty, if you're working in the garden, whatever, you think the whole world is dirty. Get into the shower, you think the whole world is killing. The whole world is the same. It's the way you perceive. In a bad day, you have a perception of the world is just terrible, but it's not. To tell yourself, that's what I tell myself. I'm just not clean now, but it's not so bad as it sounds. But you have to find the good things. Well, here he's going to explain that in the darkness there's Torah. Toiv is Torah, Heine Torah. Vayumim, the days are called Nikra Midos. Moshekuse Midas Yumai. It's a pusik in Tehillim. The measurement of my days. So the days are called Midas. Now Midas, Hana Torah. The Midas is Torah. Why? Keraisa. The Torah is all the midas of Hashem. Why? The Torah talks about love, about fear. Everything comes is kavayuchel the midas of the Bnei Shalom. So that means that when you learn Torah, you're learning what Hashem is all about, so to say. There's the midas of Hashem. It talks about this love, about this yera, ibor. The Rabbi created the world with the Torah. And this is an important thing. I once heard when I was a young boy from a Baal Musa said that the Rabbi looking at the Torah created, he says your head is round, not because we put film with the ritzus on the head because it fits this way. The reason the head is round is the Rebbe knew film has to be go on the head, so he made it round. I mean, the Rebbe looked into the Torah, and that's how he created the world.
What's an Amma?
Umma means means who raised me. He oimen esadasa. So when the Darshans, the Torah, this goes on the Torah. Pusik Mishnah goes on the Mammals, it goes on the Torah. The Torah was sort of the company raised. The Medrash says, don't say Umain, el Uman. It's Hashem's, what's his name, blueprint. You look into the Torah, that's a created word. Torah, that means what really he's trying to say over here, which is a Yisod in all Chassidische Svarim across the board, that in everything in the world there's Oisisa Torah. If we could see, we'd see how the whole world has different combinations of Oisisa Torah. Different everything. The world was created with the Torah. Everything that has life is the Rebbe created it through the Torah. In every ounce, in every cell, there's the Oisisa Torah. There's less light. You're on a higher level. It means the higher the level is, the more light it shines. The more darkness, the more the clippers are. Has to be a drop of or has to be there. And that gives the life. Even in the behemoths Tamegas and even who knows what. And the worst of the worst, there's always oasis a Torah we could find. Nimtza fil b'muder haklippus b'mei hara in the tough days. Shemidus ruas l'shonis akim. You feel like the bad midas in the shonis akim is explained. There are a few times that Rachman explains that the l'shonis akim is attached to the midas ruas. Shemachon nimtza oasis a Torah. We could find always letters of the Torah. Avo. We say it over the famous Gemara. Gemara says, with the Zura, there was a guy who was obsessed with sex. Every zoina that was ever he had to find, and we call it an addiction. Just terrible. And the last time when he met the zoina, and she said to him that just like gases that leaves the body cannot go back, so too you cannot do tshuva. And he heard this, hit home. And he did such tshuva that he died from tshuva. It's an amazing thing. In the darkness of the darkness, he found the Likutey Tauber that woke him up. Imam sinning woke him up, and he shook him up till he did tshuva, then he died from tshuva. So powerful is this tshuva. Saying that, there is in the Rabbi saying every dark place, no matter how dark, you could always find Torah over there. You have to look for it. When he says, "Avamisha kovis yitzhara," a person who's kovis yitzhara, hainai meira, hamidus is bad midus, ozaran is babel gam negi mei toiv shebehem, or the toisi bolt yisum idim yoyse. He says, a person who conquered his yitzhara, he looks at things, he could see the light of everything. We have a yitzhara, we don't see things. It's obvious. We don't have to. It's in a spiritual and physical as also. When a person's in a bad mood, he thinks the whole world is angry at him. You're in a very bad mood. You're standing at the red light. You think even the red light is against me. Today he's just ain't changing already. We have because this is how we see the world today. We wake up in a lousy mood, so we think the whole world is lousy. You know what I'm saying? But when a person is this a million-time person is kovish yitzhara, he sees the goodness of everything. He sees the oasis of Torah. Beginning it didn't light so much. It shouldn't get light more than it needs. But now the Rabbi became bottle. Now all we have is the oisi of the Torah as mekabel or rav melamala. He says now, when the tzaddik is there, the Ra gives botlans, adrabah, it lights up for him. He sees, but us, it's very interesting. It has to do who sees and who's there. There's a drop of or because we didn't kovish the Yitzhara. But the tzaddik, it falls away, and it's like you have a light. I look at it different. You have a light, it gets uncovered, and you see the light. But the word is mekabel or melamala, a little differently than that. Literally, when the tzaddik sees the oasis of Torah, he literally means to say that becomes shining and gets the or melamala. So he explained, nimtze zeh shekoifes yitzroi, person's koifes yitzroi, han shekoifes yimei hara.
That's the distinct difference between a tzaddik and a regular person. A tzaddik, the or is actually...
Tzaddik broke it totally, but he also could be koif for the Yitzhara. Right. Certain people, he doesn't have to be in a person who's out and he's koif, he doesn't talk Lashon Hara. Certain things, he's koif, doesn't want to look at things, he doesn't want to look, his koif is Yitzhara. He looks at things in a much different way. People, in real life, when people are, have issues, they look at things if you work with people, you notice certain people that have issues, they have issues with everyone. Because that's how they perceive life in the wrong way. So Lahavdul, Eilef Avdul is the same thing. When the more you koif Yetzirah, you look at things in you can look at it in a much broader way, you can understand it better. But the Rebbe is teaching us there's light in everything. So the more a person's koif Yetzirah, he could find the light. The tzaddikim broke the Yetzirah totally, find it immediately. We could find light in every situation. Torah Dala explains that in every situation, the Rabbi Shem is maramas to us how to get closer to Hashem. Everything in the world could teach us. Everything in the world was done with ultimate wisdom. Everything in the world you could teach a person how to get closer to Hashem. That's the first Torah also. First Torah ever says that there's such light in the world that everything you could see the wisdom of Hashem. It is. The wisdom of Hashem, is so mind-boggling, just we got used to it. The Chavis always says because we got immune to it. Start thinking how the world turns on its axis, how we think. How, I always think about my body, made of some cholent, some apples, and it's just mind-boggling from a tiny cell, tiny microscopic scale we became. It's just mind-boggling. Just, we don't pay attention. Why? See, why? It's like the same, it come out the same thing that I was teaching us. We're always focused on all the unimportant thing, but it is important. You got to make a living, you got to eat, you got to take care of things. So we're so focused how to make a living, how to raise the family, how to do, so we don't see the spirituality of everything. It's obvious because we are so demanding. It's such a demanding thing to live and to make a panos and to raise a family. But if you're a great tzaddikim, we're able to see in everything. I mean, there's not just from the Rabbi, great tzaddikim, we're able, everything they said, how they said it and what they said, and they saw everything people said to them, how it's connected to Hashem in an unbelievable way. It's a famous story where the Rebbe's brother came to visit him the first time, and he didn't like it because he was talking things that didn't seem to him very important. And in Shabbos, and Motzei Shabbos, he told his brother. He closed the door, and they spoke the whole night. And when he left the room, he couldn't sleep for days. He was so awed what the Rebbe explained to him, how everything that people said, what's meramas, and how, doesn't say what he told them, but tzaddik were able to hear words and understand. The Zohar says that one of the ways that Yosef Tzaddik had the koyach to interpret dreams, he listened to every word that they said, to the Saramashkim Saroif, and how he said it and when he said it. And truthfully, the Zohar says in another place, if you really listen to people, you can figure out who knows what. But we don't listen. You ever notice we listen with a half an ear because we don't pay fully attention. If you would take everything away, just fully focus, you could hear from a person, you'd be shocked what you can hear. But we don't, we only pay half of our mind is floating all over the world. It's not there. So that's the truth. Everything that's happening in life, like, if you look at it and then see the Rebbeinu Shalom, but you have to look, you have to see. The A means you gotta really seek out and see the Rebbeinu Shalom.
That's where reading between the lines comes in.
Right? But you could, I want to